Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya is a marketing and client recruitment software. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. How do we do it? A matchmaker. Your brand will have its own unique matchmaking survey. By pairing people based on their skill set, budget, personality, and lifestyle preferences, Maya creates lasting relationships that keep both sides coming back for more. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Pair the right clients with the right beauty pros the first time. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. We're talking today about having the guts to lead well. And what better person to come here than first time guest, Amber Pope, newly honored as a top 200 salon, specifically in the leadership category. And Amber was on a panel at our most recent event at Data Driven last month. And she is just an incredible woman in this industry that I'm excited for you to hear about for the first time today here at Beyond the Technique. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Chet and Amber started Salon, and she'll tell you they have a kind of a funny name together. They started Salon 27 in the Phoenix, Arizona area back in 2015. They had a hope for creating a salon space of exceptional education and impeccable hair. There was one more component that they insisted on, which was supporting the stylist. It was in the DNA of Salon 27 right from the start, which was to make a positive space to help stylists reach their goals and full potential and thriving culture and benefits the team and for the team and the guests. So today, with so many amazing stylists working together to provide artistry and craft, their salon has grown to new heights and are always focused on the future together. You're going to hear that they expanded in a time where most people probably would have been a little bit too scared to do that. And that's where the guts comes in. So we're talking about having the guts to lead well. Without further ado, help me welcome Amber Pope. Welcome to Beyond the Technique.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be here for the first time, and we're actually connecting. And it was such a thrill to be in Denver with you. Like we talked about, what an amazing event that was, bringing so many leaders together. I'm so delighted that I get to share this time with you today and talk about some of my most passionate discussions, which is the salon industry, one, and two, how I have a role in it as a leader. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And I'm just excited because you and I have never really formally gotten to know each other. So this is going to be really fun for everybody to kind of be in this conversation like they're behind closed doors with us, right? Like it's kind of fun. And that's where I'm going to start because I'm curious, Amber, what brought you to the beauty industry? Why did you decide to dive into it from the beginning?
I love sharing that I didn't find it, it found me. I had a whole other life and a whole other career that was pretty established. And we made a big move across country. So the long and the short of it is that I needed a change because we were in new uncharted territory in our lives. This is Chet and myself, better known as, to your point, Chamber, as I say for efficiency. You get one leg of Chamber today on
Amber.
this talk.
Perfect.
um, but we moved away and I was scared. And, fear makes you really question so many things. And if you let it guide you, you can really stop your journey. And it did for me. I was afraid to continue the work I had been doing. I took pause and I had a friend of mine that was like, "Hey, will you just come answer the phones at this salon?" And I was like, "Well, I think I need to like get back to it and I need to be back into my, role that I've left in medicine actually." And she's like, "Please, please, please, beg, beg, beg." And I'm like, "Fine, I'll come in." And I never left. I saw that first haircut happen in the salon. I was mesmerized. I was hooked. My original statement was, "You find somebody else to fill my space by August," but by October I was in hair school and I never left. I never left. It was a great starting place. I'm thankful for every journey, that every step in that journey that took me there. So I'm very passionate with that story because I didn't see it coming. And the best things that happen in your career is the things that you didn't think were going to happen. I'm a very controlling, very, mastermind person that I like to be, set the stage for myself. But it's always the best ones that, man, I did not see that coming. I did not. And it was the best. It was absolutely the best. So.
Wow, Amber, that's so cool. And did you go to hair school and then when you were done, you started out in the industry as a hairstylist? Did you continue your time at that same salon?
Yeah, so I was there for 4 years, completed cosmetology academy, and I co-worked as a assistant during that time too, to really fast track myself. So spent 4 years there, and then we made our way back to Phoenix, and there was one place that I had my sights set on, and I beat down their door every single month for 1 year straight until the prestigious Vidal Sassoon salon here in Scottsdale took me in, and I did a second apprenticeship program. And I loved my journey with them, really developed my craft, the sense for the preservation of the craft, the respect for it. And that was a fantastic journey for me to really cut my teeth in what it meant to be a precision cutter, and a precision artist, and really elevate the work that I did. And then from there, through that whole duration, I took tons of salon leadership courses, management courses through other companies that inspired me. And then I took an independent journey. And at that time, I realized that it was right for my family at the time for me to be solo as a service provider, but taught for the salon organization that I was part of. So I was still getting that, sense of, community, but it just began to really sink in that I wanted more. I wanted the artistry, but I wanted to be able to connect with stylists. And I wanted to, without really realizing it, I wanted to lead. And Chet had this really great idea. One day I was visiting family out of state, and he's like, I'm looking at a space that I think would be great for a salon. And I'm like, I think you're crazy. And we jumped. We came home. I came home. He showed it to me, and that was the birth of Salon 27. And I thought in those days, you know what? I want people to join me on this mission, on this journey that I was going to set in motion. Again, this was something that I didn't see coming, which is why it's so fabulous. Um, and I took the risk. I was up for it, and so we decided that we would start with something that would be manageable, that if everybody, that I had invited to come along to this party left me, I could still cut hair behind the chair. I could still keep the lights on, if it didn't work for the leadership. But I'm really happy to say that that was a 5 year stretch in that salon space, knowing that if it worked, we would grow. And we went from 1,300 square feet to just under 3,000 square feet. We went from, it was 2 chairs to then 7 chairs. And then when we moved, we now have 22 chairs, a team of 6 that left that location and moved to our bigger location. And now we have a team of 15 and currently growing. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. How's that
Oh
for
my gosh.
for a career path?
It's incredible. And just you've expanded multiple times. You're putting yourself out of kind of seemingly your comfort zone. Um,
Mhm.
just take your willingness to take a risk that takes guts. And so there's so much to unpack with it. I want to go all the way back to Vidal Sassoon because I feel
Mhm.
like things have shifted in today's kind of culture of I don't know if many professionals would be willing to take a few steps back in order to see how much better they could come. Like you talked about your love for the craft and the respect for the craft. And I think sometimes learning precision haircuts is underrated or underappreciated sometimes. So I know that's passionate, like something you're passionate about is really helping train your team. And so if you would just want to share with us why that is like a main driver for you and how you see that being kind of done differently with today's generation of how quickly they want to be really good and be on the floor?
Yeah, I think the craft has to be in place, right? Like we have to be able to crank out amazing, good, solid work. Sassoon, to your point, it was a time and a place. It's changed a lot over the duration of, this industry and the demand for now. We want it now. I want to be able to be an expert at all the things in this short amount of time. And we can't stretch out these long apprenticeships, but we have to find ways to flex to still be able to develop the craft for our teams. So I do have an assistant program that touches in mirroring what I experienced at Sassoon. And for the record, I do not have Sassoon like plug and play in Salon 27. That is not what this is, but I want my assistant team who are learning under myself to take what I gained from my time at Sassoon, which was you have to invest in your own learning, meaning you have to come to school, quote unquote, with your homework in hand. And so I set up model blocks of time for my team that are learning under me. We set up guidelines. Today, you're going to find so and so that you're going to do such and such technique. And they have the drive to go out to find those models, to bring them to school, so to speak. And then we work side by side because there's nothing better than being side by side to say, change your body mechanics like this. Put your elbow over this way. You can gain so much digitally, but I will always and forever say that digital is great for your mind to say, like, oh, I can see how it should be done, but you have to have somebody standing next to you to say, and this is the way you do it. I always say that it's like learning how to, be really expert in sports, right? To like really sink that 3-point shot, like toes to heels to knees, all the way up through to your hand to like sink that basketball right, like swoosh it. And it's the same way for hair. We have to really think about it in a physical sense as well as a technical standpoint. So the reason why we have those model sessions put in place to then is for me to have that one-on-one touch point with them. But then from there, I do want to fast track them so that they are getting a real world sense of what does it mean when your books are live. You are open online for being able to schedule for clients, but still with sort of a safety net, still with support. And so I ended up creating just over 2 years, an interim position to where I have my assistants who are in the model program. Then they move into a junior role where we are marketing that position as an available booking for our client base to schedule with our developing team, and they are side by side with me. And this is a real sort of proving ground to get the technique that much more advanced and developed, but really work on timing and really work on flexibility of whatever is going to walk through the doors and land into your chair. We have some sense of we know how to tackle this, and that's there has to be risk in there too, right? Like they have to be willing to do all of this, to wring out the sponge, to take it in, to know that there's going to be leadership every step of the way. We're going to have goal setting every step of the way, but we're going to be able to really fast track it because I'm putting my energy and effort right alongside with them. And, I travel a lot. And if I'm not there, my leadership team is right there alongside to be able to support them. But the long and the short of it is that they get to, hit the floor as a junior role probably pretty quick compared to like, if we look back to 10 plus years ago when I had my training. So we have to flex because the demand is there.
Well, I applaud that you're willing to make changes and pivot to what the new generation of professionals are really seeking, and that really speaks to your stepping into being that leader who leads well. Behind the scenes, you kind of shared you've had sort of a breakthrough in leadership. You've always been leading, but what's changed for you, Amber, and especially in the last year where it's like you're not only being recognized for it, but you feel like you've kind of risen to your full potential?
I think that I had to get out of my own head. And I think that I had to be willing to say, I can drive the moving force of this business with having support, but being fully capable in my own self to step center and say, I'm the leader of this organization, but this is how we're all going to do it together. And I have this in I'm such a transparent person. So in full transparency, it takes confidence that like I had to learn to develop in myself. And that it takes a lot of, like we said, guts and courage. To own a business is a courageous. You are visible, you have to be accountable, you have to be insightful, you have to be humble. And I had this forever like nagging voice in my mind that's like, Amber, you've got to do these things, but like, don't say it too loud. Don't say it too loud. I had this awakening that my team was like, you're our coach. You should be shouting it the loudest. It should be you advocating for us as our leader. And I woke up one day and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I really needed to fully step into this position with strength, with self-confidence, and I had to do the work. I was doing the work for them in their goals and their goal setting, but at the end of the day, I wanted myself to be as confident as I was behind the chair as I was outside of behind the chair. When I stepped away from taking clients, nobody told me. I mean, we talk about it all the time. How do you transition so that you can fully lead your team? Like, there's a lot of dialogue that's out there for how to do that, how to successfully do that, how to like gracefully do that. And I advocate for anybody in leadership who is still fully behind the chair to stop. You have to be there to be present for your team. I think it was the best thing that I ever did. It was the most non-graceful, hardest thing that I ever did. I'm such a giver and such a doer, and that action behind the chair, and then also wanting to do that for my team, were inherently push and pulling each other. Like the team wasn't getting the best experience because they didn't have all of me. My clients weren't getting the best experience because they didn't have all of me. And here I am going, but like I'm the leader, guys, and I can do all the things, and I couldn't do all the things, and it was really hitting me in this. I'm not capable, which wasn't the truth. It was that I was trying to do too many things and still saying I wanted to lead, and I was doing it very inefficiently. And so stepping away from behind the chair finally became the call to action for me, which seemed terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And then the first 6 months of it, I couldn't figure out why I was internally so frustrated with myself and not feeling successful in the wins that the team was gaining. And I realized this epiphany that if we see clients every hour rotating to every like what 3 hours, so you're seeing a fair amount of people in a day as a fully booked like leader in your salon organization. You have people every hour telling you how incredible you are, how amazing you are, you're so good at what, like, how do you make me feel this way, I love this. And you're getting all of those amazing confidence boosters happening from behind the chair. And the second I stepped away from behind the chair, I felt the most vulnerable. I felt like I might as well have been standing stark naked in my salon with everybody looking at me, and I didn't know what to do until finally I decided I know how to wear these clothes. I've been setting the stage for this for years. Since even before I owned Salon 27, I had the groundwork laid out of what a salon mission was, what cultural values were, how to lead a team. And the stage was set. I just had to be brave enough to step foot on it, let the light shine and say, you know what? Yes, this is my vision, but I'm nobody without my team. And so I always keep them as my center focus and how I can help them grow. And that's what being like an emotionally tapped in leader is. I have great operational skills. At the end of the day, I lead this business with my heart and humility and transparency, but I have to be willing to stand there and say, this is who I am.
Okay, yes, thank you. I mean, I feel like so many owners are listening right now and saying, this is the pep talk that I needed to hear today. And I may save this clip and listen to it on a regular basis. So I'm reminded that I need to step into what I'm called to. You have this kind of sweetness about you, this soft, kind, and all of that is so lovely. And yet, my fear for you, just intuitively meeting you, is like, I don't want to see you get walked all over. Like the person who wants to make everybody else happy. It's like you are the nicest mom in the neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean? In my neighborhood mom group, I'm the one calling out the kids for their bull crap and the parent, and then the kids are like, she's not the nice mom. You are the nicest mom. So I could see, and I don't know if I'm getting this right or not, but I could see you like really being able to like not only stand up for them, but stand up for what you know is the direction that your business needs to go and being really confident in that. So congratulations on making that happen.
Thank you. Thank you. That made me laugh so much that I'll take the nice mom award. I appreciate it. And I think that I really think that it's it takes a lot of heartache though too. Like I failed. Like that's the reality of it, is that the things that I wasn't doing right and the conversations that needed to happen as what it means to be a leader weren't happening out of fear of hurting people's feelings. And at some point, there's a great book, Radical Candor, like changed my life. Like I had to learn that. And I think that you develop in the ways that you can, if you can turn the mirror on yourself and really look at, all right, this isn't working. What is going to work is going to be me to face these changes I have to make in myself. And to be fair, that was both of us, Chamber collectively. Chamber both had to do this, and we both had work in different ways in terms of leadership to tackle. And I think I wanted like to just praise everybody who's been in that position, and I'll praise myself. It takes guts and courage to do that, because you have to inherently say, I've got to be different. I have to change. And it's for the betterment of myself, my own happiness in my business, and to grow the team. And as soon as I started doing that, it was like rocket fuel. It was rocket fuel in the business, but it's painful until you can recognize it.
Well, you know what? Your awareness and acknowledgement has brought you to this so special space, and that is where your growth comes in. Your team is growing, your incredible space is growing, and I had loved hearing all the things that Chamber was up to when you were and I love that you brought up radical candor. Remember, I don't know if you heard that at Serious Business the year that the author came to speak about it, but that too hit me in a really big way. So thanks for bringing that resource up. And I definitely will put that in our show notes for people to click through and get that book, because I think that is a game changer for every leader, no matter if you're the owner or not. If you are a leader, that book is for you. So before we're wrapping things up, Amber, what would be some final words of just encouragement or wisdom that you'd want to share with the salon owners and leaders that are listening today?
Well, like I said, it takes courage and a heart to do what we do. And much like we tell our stylist teams that, we're better together, and it's true for artistry, we are better together. The same thing is in our leadership as well. I think we are better together, and knowing that if you can connect with other leaders to gain insight like this talk, to get out to incredible events and network and connect, you really have this sense of my struggles are everybody's struggles. Or hey, I've been there and this is how I got over it. Or I can tell you're in the thick of it. Here's a resource. And we don't get that opportunity unless we recognize that it's there for us. Our industry is better for us as leaders coming together. I inherently think that is just, again, it's in the DNA of who we are in this industry is connectivity. So I always will say it's leaders connect and you're not alone. You're not alone.
You are not alone. Well, I appreciate you just being here today and sharing your story with us. And I hope that you and I will get to have many more conversations after this. So thank you, Amber, for being with me.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you love Beyond the Technique, we just ask that you would take a moment to leave a positive review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, everybody, have an awesome day and stay strong.